14 dark thoughts making performers want to give up and why you don't have to. It's Sandra Mazili, founder of Inner Action Counselling. Check this out, www.inneractioncounselling.co.uk. If you're a performer and you've thought about giving up, not just once, but repeatedly, so over and over again, you're not on your own. I've been there myself, okay? Not in recent years, it has to be said, but I still remember what it was like, that feeling of helplessness and not being able to control what I was doing and just being pushed, pulled this direction, that direction, callbacks or lack of them, self-doubt, feeling like that sparkle is gone. I could go on and on, but this video isn't a list of grievances about performing. This video is for the part of you that still feels like you want to be in this industry. A very small part maybe, and maybe whispering, but it might be saying something like, don't want to give this up. Really? I don't want to. And it might be buried under the louder voices. But let's talk about the thoughts dragging you down and why they don't have to have the final say. So we're going to cover the auditions streak, no callbacks or that radio silence, feeling sick of the feast famine, quality performing, no sense of tangible achievement, feeling like it might owe us something, feelings of being no good, loss of mojo, performance nerves, stuck in a rut, lack of apparent career progression, comparison, thoughts of giving up equals portend. It must be a sign if I'm thinking about it. I'm good at other things, compartmentalizing your life, only saying that because. So that's 14 things. Strap yourself in because this is a long one. Auditions. That auditions streak. So you've got loads of auditions, audition after audition after audition, but hearing nothing back. Not so much as I get lost. Or you've got auditions, you've got through the paper sift, you've applied, got the audition, yay! No callback. Or audition, yay! Callbacks, lots more yay! And then nothing. Right? Does that mean you should give up? Well, no, because these things happen in phases. Right? You might be auditioning for a few weeks, a few months, even a year, and then you'll get a streak of jobs. And you might feel like, well, why is this happening? Just enjoy the up, is what I would say. And be mindful that this can be the case for long periods of time and ride it out. There's lots of people who feel like they can't ride it out. You don't have to be one of them. You get to be one of the people who knows that work happens in work, out of work, in work, out of work as a performer. I mean, what if you're getting no auditions? You know, whether you're representing yourself or you have an agent or a mix of both, like me. What if, regardless of everything you're doing, you're getting absolutely no feedback whatsoever from anybody? You're sending yourself out into the sea, whether putting up self-tapes or sending out your reels or just literally waiting for them to come to you. What happens then? Well, isn't that a significant point about giving up? Not really, because again, this stuff happens in phases. And it can feed the self-doubt. You know, I'm not getting auditions. Does that mean I'm no good? Well, no, it means you're not getting auditions at this point because either the work isn't suitable for you. So if you're represented, they'll be making decisions like that for you, like this suits her, this maybe doesn't. If you're representing yourself, you're probably looking at things like, do I put myself up for that? Even if it isn't suitable for me. So you might be chasing the wrong things. So I make a point of not auditioning for characters which say 18 plus. This happens more in voiceover than on TV, by the way. But 18 plus, so 18 to 100. I just don't put myself up for those. The brief is too wide. You know, I focus very narrowly. So that feeds into this self-doubt thing and just not allowing that to be fed so much. So strengthen yourself with taking part in projects that make you feel good, whether that is performing or doing other things with your life. And we'll touch more on that a bit later on. Reminding yourself of your successes can be a good self-doubt antidote. So if you've got CDs, DVDs, or other media of previous performances where you were great, then do a bit of a self-gratitude top-up with that. It'll help you stay on the straight and narrow of, yeah, I was successful, I will be again. Feeling like the sparkle is gone. That loss of mojo. That can be genuinely a loss of mojo, or it can be a symptom of something else, like symptoms of depression, or even grief or anger about something else. And guess what? Therapy hat is back on. Performance hat is off for a minute. There's that therapy hat. But it really can be. Sometimes when we do feel those issues coming in, we may genuinely stop enjoying everything, including doing the work we love, even if we've spent years training for it and then working hard at it and notching up the credits, and then feel like, what is this all for? You know, I'm not enjoying it now. Sometimes some performances just aren't that enjoyable. You have some which feel like you're absolutely there and plugged into the universe. You are thrumming with life, and other performances are just like, or you might be performing when you're ill and just push through. But the ones where you feel plugged into the universe sustain you for the rest of them. That's how I feel. I might have a few per year which feel like, yes, this is it. Then the other ones are like, this is so not. But the other ones sustain me for the less fun ones. Again, they happen in phases. Feast famine, right? We all know that. In work, out of work, in work, out of work, in work, out of work. And you might feel a little bit sick of that. You know, I've gone on and on about phases. And you might say, Sandra, I'm sick of the phases. Maintaining the auditions pipeline will help reduce that quality of, I've got work, nothing. I've got work, nothing. If you audition, regardless of whether you have a job or not, which is easier said than done, especially if you're doing 8 shows a week, got to audition as well. You get Sundays off. I mean, I'm being flippant with this, but do what you can when you can, and that will help reduce that waterbed stability, which is almost no stability. No sense of tangible achievement. That can be another thoughts, feelings curveball. What have I got to show for all these years? I've been on stage, I've been on set, and I can't touch anything that I've achieved. You know, then you're looking at other people who have children or companies, or especially if they're artisans and they've made things, they make stuff. What do I do? I make noises. See how that can just feel is awful stuff. Well, I talked about DVDs earlier and CDs and various other media that you can put your hand on. If you've written books and things like that, the stuff you can touch almost. But think about the lives you've touched as well. You will have had compliments at some point. I mean, you're bound to have had. You wouldn't spend time and money training and then being on stage and on set of things. Casting directors wouldn't put you through for things if you hadn't had a compliment or two at some point. And asking yourself what people have got out of your performing. And you may have been told about it, you know? So think about that. Feeling like the industry owes you something. You spent all this time and all this money and you may still be paying it off. Training and perfecting, you might be training now. I mean, we never stop learning. I get training when I can. It's great. But you're like, after all that, give me something back. And it's like, well, it owes you nothing. The industry that we are in, we have chosen to be in. And we find it fun. Sometimes we don't. We love it. Sometimes we don't. But we have decided to enter into this thing that we love. And we get out of it what we make. We decide what we get out of it. And coming back to the fun side, if there's that loss of mojo or feeling like we've lost that sparkle, You might think about, the gambling adverts when the fun stops. Stop. But think about why the fun has stopped. Has something happened in your life that is ruining it? Have you been a child performer and you've been doing it for lots and lots and lots of years and you just feel like a little bit stuck now? It's like, well, this is the only thing I can do. But think about other things you can do that may be relevant to performing. And then weave back and decide whether you really do enjoy it or not. And it's fine to go through periods where you don't. You don't have to love this thing all the time. I do blame some of the kind of propaganda of performers sometimes going on social media all the time. It's like, yeah, it's great. It's great all the time. It isn't great all the time. Sometimes it's really rubbish. And sometimes it's the best thing in the world. But you are allowed to feel off. Performance nerves, is that a reason to give up? Well, again, there's help available, whether it's therapeutic or self-help books, workshops, there's tons of help and tons of peer support as well. It's frightfully common to suffer with performance nerves, anything from, I'm a bit apprehensive, to full-scale stage fright. That's not a reason to give up what you love. Fight for it. Feeling stuck in a rut, I've covered this a little bit, especially if you've been performing since you were a kid. I mean, I've been a soloist since I was about 6. You could be like, really? Yes, really. And you may well feel you're stuck in a rut, if you're doing the feast famine thing, auditions, not auditions, your agent says jump and your response is how high, and you might be feeling like, is this it? Is this my whole life? And it doesn't have to be. You can do other stuff as well. And you get to decide what you do and when you do it. Sometimes it feels like you have no decisions. You have to be getting up at 4 to get collected at 6 a.m., to be on set at 7 for the hair and makeup, to be in rehearsals at 8, to be filming on camera at 9. But in general, you get to manage time between your jobs and making the most of that time to either work on your craft or do other stuff relating to your craft. So I teach, I write. And guess what? I do therapy as well. And I make sure that all the things I do, I love and I care about. I'm not sitting there waiting for the next gig, right? If I'm on stage or on set, that's great. If I'm doing one of the other things, that is also great. So it's an antidote for that feeling stuck in a rut thingy. Lack of apparent career progression. In an average company, you're facilities management or tea and coffees, or you're a runner, and then you might be administrator or management, middle management, and then chief executive officer or chief financial officer, chief something. You go up and up and up and up the ladder. In this industry, you do have to make your opportunities yourself, which again is easier said than done. That's why I said no apparent career progression, because sometimes there is career progression, bit parts to starring role. Sometimes it feels like you're stuck in bit parts or one-liners or feeding line. Like, I want to be the punchline. I don't want to be the feeding line so the other guy gets the laugh. But again, make your opportunities. If you want representation, look up how to get that. If you're represented right now, you're not happy with your representation, so you're on this kind of agency and you want to be in this kind of agency, then look up how to get that. But you really do have to be clear about what you want. Sometimes we're clear about what we don't want. And we think that is it. Like, well, I don't want this, I'm sick of that. That's not necessarily what we want. Be clear with yourself and do a self-audit at least once a year. Notice what I say, not what I do, because I would love to be sitting there doing that every quarter, but most of the time I do it once a year. That includes getting all your credits up to date, making sure your training is up to scratch, photos. You can get away with it every couple of years. That can be an antidote to that career progression thing, is being clear about your goals, making sure you know that you have some, assessing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Doing the whole 360. Comparison. You're sitting there, no auditions, and you're looking at someone's Insta, probably someone you trained with, and they're starring in this, that, and the other, and they're winning awards. Oh, I hate them so much. No, you don't. They're living their best life. You get to live your best life. And remember that social media is snapshots of life, not the whole story. Are they telling you about, they were just dumped the other day and crying their eyes out into the toilet? No, they're not. They're telling you about the bits of their life they want you to see. So stop comparing yourself. Thoughts of giving up equals portend. It's a sign. I'm thinking about it. The fact that I'm even doing that is a sign. No, it isn't. Thoughts are thoughts. The fact you're thinking one thing, I'm thinking about my lunch that is waiting for me on the table. Is that more important than what I'm doing now? Part of me thinks it is. Most of me thinks it isn't. Thinking about giving up means nothing. We've all thought about it. Whether we do it or not is up to us. How important a thought is dictated by what we decide it is. We have hundreds and thousands of thoughts per day. Make decisions about how important they are. That's why they're important at all. I'm good at other things. That means I shouldn't really be doing this. I blame the educational institutions for this one. Propaganda. If you can think of something else you want to do, then you're not focused or obsessed enough. To a certain extent, if you're not laser focused on your craft, then you're not as good as the next man. But in general, just because you can think of something else to do, it doesn't mean you're not supposed to be doing this one. Compartmentalizing your life, that can feed into the up, down mood thing. Resting jobs. You've seen them in certain performance specialist newspapers. You've got the job you love, and then while you're waiting to be on stage again, resting jobs. Right? That can feed the horrible moods and things. If I'm just sitting there doing this job that I hate, think of the money, think of the money, think of the money, think of the money, until I'm on stage again. Make sure you're doing stuff you like doing. I like teaching voice. Right? I like writing about performing. I've written various articles about performing, about agency representation, about auditions, how to cope with rejection, blah, blah, blah. I like doing that. I'm a psychotherapeutic counsellor. I've spent a lot of time and a lot of money training in that. Would I have done that if I didn't care about doing that? I really love doing that work. It doesn't matter what work I am doing. I love it all. And that is how to keep yourself sane, to be honest. And my last one is, and this is more relevant to disabled performers than anybody else. I mean, you could transplant anything like minority, ethnicity, or if you've been in care, or if you're a traveller, or just anything else, is they're only saying that because. So you're getting showered with compliments, and you can kind of ruin it for yourself in your own mind. They're only saying that because I'm disabled. Or they're only saying that because I'm black. Like, actually, you could just be good at your craft, and they're just telling you that. I know exams are a dirty word sometimes, but take exams. Examiners are impartial. If it's a practical, then yeah, they'll see me with my cane. If it's a written one, they won't even know you're disabled at all. You're a candidate number. But they have to just follow the mark scheme. If you're good on the day, you're good on the day, and they mark you out of whatever it was. And that is it. There's no sob story. If you look at certain reality TV programs, there's nothing but sob stories, strife to success and all that stuff. Exams do not do that. Competitions do not do that. Normal competitions, not reality shows, but local or county, get that trophy, create that unshakable self-belief. Especially if you're disabled, people will be falling over themselves to tell you that you are no good, or to tell you that you better do something that's more secure because you're disabled and everything's hard enough for you as it is, on and on and on. If you have that credibility within yourself that you know you are good, regardless of whether people say you're good or not good, then it can bounce off. So thanks for spending time with me on this. If you want more interesting content, like and subscribe, comment below, keep it respectful if you can. If you can't, then don't say anything. Take care. Thanks again. Bye for now.